Okay, another factor that affects the competitive rivalry in the market is the supplier bargaining power. Supplier are the very important stakeholder of the organization, and the relationship between the supplier and the organization is very important to increase the profitability of the organization and also the performance of the organization. Usually, supplier prepare good or services for the organization, like the raw materials, like for example, a special training for the organization, and it has the very important role for the organization. When the supplier prepare the unique good and product, so the bargaining power of the supplier is very high. When the bargaining power of the supplier is high, they can easily increase the price, and also they can easily decrease the quality and limit the number of products they will sell. So the bargaining power is very important. Of the bargaining power of the supplier is a very important factor that affects the competitive rivalry. Several factors determine supplier bargaining power. When suppliers are highly concentrated, the bargaining power is very high. It means that when the number of the supplier is very low, the bargaining power of the supplier is very high. For example, the IKEA, which produce the furniture for the um, product as a product, and the IKEA has so many suppliers. There are many small and medium enterprises work as a supplier in the for the IKEA, and they prepare good for the IKEA. But IKEA can easily switch from one supplier to another supplier. So it is easy for the IKEA to switch between the supplier. Another, please assume the gas station. The gas station um, doesn't have too many suppliers. Maybe just one or two refinery in the regions uh, work as a supplier for the gas station. So the gas station doesn't have too many choices. That's the reason in this industry the bargaining power of the supplier is very high. So another important thing is that when the supplier vertically integrated, the bargaining power also is stronger. And bargaining power is determined by the availability of the substitute product. When the number of the substitute product increase, also the bargaining power of the supplier decrease. And bargaining power of the buyer is another factor, and is the last factor in the Porter framework that affect the uh, actually uh, competitive rivalry in the market. So customers are the very important stakeholder of the companies, because usually when the customer buy the organization product, usually the company can generate the revenue. So the uh, buyers are very important. If a firm provides a unique good or service, like for example operating system, just assume Microsoft. Microsoft prepare Windows. For example, the customer they don't have too many choices, and they cannot replace Windows with other uh, too many operating system. So in this industry, the bargaining power of the buyer is very low. But for example, assume the transportation industry, and there are so many alternatives for the customer. For example, if the customer cannot use their own cars, they can use bus or they can use Uber. And in many countries, using, for example, the Uber is cheaper than using their own cars. For example, in the United States, using the Uber is easy, actually um, cheaper than using the own car. And so in this industry, the actually bargaining power of the buyer is very high. And also the bargaining power of the customer in, for example, uh, some industry which actually uh, high switching costs decrease the bargaining power of the customer. For example, just assume the ERP system. The new ERP, if the organization wants to replace the new ERP system with the current ERP system in the company, it is very costly for the organization to train their employee the new ERP software system. So switching from the previous ERP system to the new ERP system is very costly for the organization. And also in the highly differentiated product, usually like the Rolex and the Ferrari is very high differentiated product, and usually the customer don't think about the price, and usually they just think about the quality, and the very important thing is quality for the customer. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a good day. Bye.